Right, hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This is the second episode of the Dundee Show podcast. It's been done with Steve, usual host, and we're very lucky today to be joined by, I'm going to call you a Dundonian legend, even though it's just on the outskirts.
Why not? Yeah,
but yeah, Billy BOYD.
Dundee postcode.
The Dundee postcode. Yeah, it's a DD postcode, yeah. Right, so to explain Billy, he is an ex-hip-hop star / there was documentaries made about his life. There is a film that is currently just the way to come out in how many weeks?
Yeah, it'll be out in April 10th.
And that is directed by James McAvoy. That's his debut in a debut movie directorial.
Directing, yes. It's
yeah,
director film, yeah.
Which is mad exciting as well. And yeah, we're going to speak about all that. Did I miss anything?
I think that's it. You just exaggerated with the legend bit. That's all. but I'll take it.
But yeah, Billy Boy, welcome, and yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. This is gonna be some story. This already we can see on the table. There's just mad interesting stuff. So, what we do is we like to take it back just right to the beginning and to find out about your whole story. So, you're from Arbroath.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I have to say that I'm from Arbroath. I get so much hassle because people always say, "How come they keep saying you're from Dundee? You're from Arbroath." So yeah, I'm from Arbroath originally. Grew up, obviously, Arbroath. Do you mean there's like I was always a creative person. I loved to be creative. I wanted to I want to be an entertainer, or I liked art and I liked all this kind of stuff. And if you're from any small, it's the same. This is the same all across the world. But never mind just the UK. But if you're from a small town, like there's not going to be many opportunities to do that kind of thing. Like if you want to be an actor or you want to be anything, you kind of need to push yourself to the big cities. That's it. Yeah, you're kind of pigeonholed into that's just your life there, and that's not possible. And I always thought, well, I just felt like there was more, and I wanted to do more. So I eventually moved to Dundee. I say big city. I moved to Dundee to go to college, actually, to go to I was doing art and stuff when I left school. So I moved through to Dundee, and that's why. The story always says Dundee, because it starts in Dundee, if you know what I mean. When it's like
with Snow Patrol. People say that Snow Patrol are like a Dundee band because they're all
there's one of them.
Yeah, there's only one boy for Dundee.
Yeah. But I'm going to defend Arbroath because I think Arbroath gets a bad rep in Scotland because there was a thing in a paper a wee while ago, and it just annoys me. Things they say about Dundee is people don't know what Dundee's about. They don't know what Arbroath's about. And to me, I got used to get taken to Arbroath by my grandparents and my mother when I was a kid, and I liked Arbroath. I thought it was a great place, and it still is. And it's the only bit that lets it down is like any city centre. That bit from where the old Woolies was, right through, and it needs a bit of tender love and care because down towards the front, right across the board, I think it's a really great place. It looks great. I don't know why it gets this reputation of being bad.
Yeah, you know what?
Really said with passion, Steve.
Yeah, no,
I can't be that bad because you obviously found your influences of like what you said. You used to do skating. Yeah. Where did you start getting into hip hop? Where did that start?
What was your musical influence before hip hop?
Well,
where did it come from?
Do you know what? So I talked about this in my book, and I right back to the start, and that's how I started about talking about music. It was basically my mum she brought me up on Motown, soul type stuff, so I was always had this, and it's not intentionally that I think that's why I got into hip hop, but I just think I always had this love for that kind of soulful and the rhythms and stuff of music. And then just like any teenager, you get into anything that's going. I mean, my first hip hop thing I ever heard was, I'm going to call it hip hop very loosely, first rap thing I ever heard, being a young white boy from Arbroath, was the likes of Vanilla Ice or MC Hammer. That was it. That was because there was no.
It was massive early 90s.
Yeah, very, very. I was at primary school, and I've talked about this. I remember it. I remember someone coming in, and that was the kind of thing I was doing, Vanilla Ice, and that was it. Yeah, so I wanted to be. I thought that's so cool. Had my hair in zigzags and all that shit. But then a boy came up to me in the playground of primary school, right? And he had the Sony Walkman. He was, you have a listen to this. And I remember putting in, I talk about this, you used to have the old Sony with the metal bit with the wee foam meter thing.
Yeah.
I remember putting them on.
The classic.
And I remember him pressing play, and this just started it, and it was NWA. Yeah. And I remember being blown away, like what is this? And I've said this in the book, I don't know if it was because it's the first time I had swearing on a record, or it was the first, or it was just amazing. So I just wanted to hear more of it. And then I think
that original NWA album is unbelievable.
Yes,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That, as I said, Public Enemy as well at that point.
Yeah.
Massive at that point, but they were for me, they were the best because it wasn't just about their local area, who they were going to shoot and all that. What came out later with Gangster Rap, it was very political, and things that were going on in Compton and stuff. Yeah. But there was more to it than that.
Yeah, but you know what? That's that kind of. I've got family from California. I really do. That's not. No, I've got family from California, and so I'd been over there, and I remember like pictures. Remember the old like Snoop Dogg song? I think it's a Snoop Doggy Dogg song. He's on the top of the record label or the record shop, and he's like. So I've been there, and I remember getting a picture.
On the video, but
and he's up the top of the record, and so I drove past it, and I think it must be Long Beach or something, and I got a picture. I had to get a picture of me standing at something like that. My uncle's taking pictures, and people are driving past shouting and shit. I was like, "Fuck off!" Whatever. I don't know, because it's like, "Fix this boy." But I kind of was more drawn to the Californian side because I'd heard NWA, and on the back of that, I think Dre brought out the Chronic. And then from there, and then obviously Snoop was on the Chronic, and that I just kind of just fell into that. It was just Death Row, and then it was all that, and then obviously there's stuff on the East Coast, Nas and everything. I loved all that stuff. I loved the Fugees back in the day, like things like the Fugees and stuff.
But you must say punk influence as well, because there's a hell of a lot of punk that goes on and that kind of thing, you know.
I do, but that's obviously comes from like skating and snowboarding.
Oh,
and stuff like I was like, listen. But again, the kind of punk stuff I liked was maybe not so much like the older stuff like the Ramones and all that kind of stuff. I liked things like like No Effects and Pennywise, all those like skater punk kind of.
I think what like Silibil Brains was live and kicking, like you see here, the Sum 41. Like band, like the punk scene, it was massive.
That's more a pop punk thing.
Yeah,
that's more. Punk. He's on about No Effects. I've seen No Effects a few times. I went down to England to see them a few times because they don't come here now because there was an incident in Glasgow, but they don't come here, so you have to travel to watch them. No Effects, love that. I like the sort of Lagwagon, but I'd come from. Cool. I'd listen to the old, as you said, Pistols through all that. Yeah, and then obviously. What you're coming into, No Effects, Sum 41, Offspring, Green Day, what the start of it, was brilliant, and that's where I kind of take you get your influences from.
The punkier side, all came from that, and that came from, like I say, snowboarding, skating and stuff back in the day, because that's what you were hearing on the videos, and it wasn't till like I remember the first hip hop I ever heard on like a skate video or something was like a Tribe Called Quest, I think, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. You never didn't think I would go skating, but it fits perfectly as well, and then obviously. That whole industry just changed majorly as more streetwear, hip hop kind of.
I snowboard as well, so a lot of the music that I like comes off. Remember the videos that were the snowboard videos, the skate videos, where you've got tricky and you've got you've gone on trip hop. You've got every kind of that kind of thing. Yeah, plus absolutely. You've got the metal. Plus you've got the punk. It mixed it up.
You've nailed it. That's absolutely spot on. Like again, it's other things I talk about as well. Is like the musically. Influences for me were things like Mo Wax, like DJ Shadow, all that kind of stuff, and a lot of like even like Portishead and stuff. That's kind of stuff you'd hear on snowboard videos as well. Yeah. But like Portishead and all these kind of trip hop stuff that was majorly influenced on me as well. So like music, I've done an album just now as well. Actually, I'm releasing an album as well to tie in with the film, and I've tried on that so hard. To take it away from hip hop, and I didn't want people to think, oh, it's Silibil, it's going to be a hip hop album. So I have tried to make it a bit trip hop influences or like drum and bass influences, and just a lot of different stuff that I've listened to over the years. Do you mean? Because you're right, it's a massive. It's not just like I grew up on that. That's it. Even Oasis and stuff. I went to see Oasis like 96, 97 or something like that. Like back in the day, I was totally into that kind of stuff as well. I was just so open to everything.
Exactly. If you've got an eclectic. Well, there's me. I go from punk from mum and dad listening to the Stones in the 70s. Uh-huh. I'm listening to that. Cliff Richard even going through country and western, then into punk, then into metal, then into thrash. So I'm going to see which she can't understand.
I was going to sidetrack there.
Yeah, I was going to see Slayer and all these kind of bands, and then into techno. So. Right across the board.
Well, that's
that's a mad mix, man.
Everything.
Yeah, honestly, I'm the same as well. Like even a lot of dance stuff as well. I love house and that kind of stuff, and I just like love everything. I just love good music. I just love good music.
So let's take you back to like you coming into Dundee. So what age were you coming into Dundee?
It would have been 18. 18, yeah. So I just left school and I came to go to college.
So what year is this, roughly?
98.
98,
Yes.
right, okay. So, like, you're at college and then you meet the Gavin, yeah?
Yeah. So met him on the
partner in crime here.
Yeah, met him on the first day of college. He was in my class. Obviously, he's come. So to tell you what, so he'd come through from Motherwell. So he was living in Motherwell because we talked off air about this, didn't we? So
was that when he was playing for Motherwell?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's when he's a Motherwell legend. No, he was through in Motherwell. His family are from there. His family are from there, but then they moved to South Africa.
Yeah.
So that's where that guy, because people get confused with the whole thing. And don't trust me, it is confusing. But they moved to South Africa, and then I think they moved back, and that was it. And then so he came from school in Motherwell through to Dundee to study as well, and that's where we met. And then his mum and dad ended up moving through to Dundee as well. So they ended up being in Dundee the whole time. I was still in Arbroath, but obviously travelling back and forward. So so I met him first day. We clicked. Like, you just sometimes you just click with someone and you just meet them when you first meet. And I said this in the book as well. There's two people in my life that I'll always remember meeting for the first time, like as if I was there. Not even like, oh, I can remember that. I feel like I was still there when I think about it. And meeting Gav was one of them, and it was because he turned up late. Like, we were sitting in the class and stuff like that, and he came in, like, obviously fell through the door almost. It was like someone at a teen movie, just something like some sort of comedy show. He almost fell over, but he looked like he might have been in hip hop and stuff, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, so I ended up sitting next to me, and we just hit it off like straight away. Like, we were into similar sort of things. We were into skating, like we were into like hip hop, and I think he had a Tupac t-shirt on, so he was really into like that kind of side of things. And yeah, we just hit it off straight away, and then we just kind of hung out, skated, listened to hip hop and everything. And obviously, I was in a band at the time, actually, so like a kind of more of like a punk band. But I'd started doing some other like side
what did you
projects.
What did you play?
No, I was just a front man. I could play a little bit of everything, not enough of anything. I was just a singer. So I was doing that, and also I was doing some kind of like side projects with a few other random people and we do like covers of like Rage Against the Machine, and that was the first time that I'd done sort of a bit more rapping, like with that Zach De La Rocca type stuff. So that's the first time I'd ever done like on stage kind of rapping sort of thing. So he'd come through and we got that. So we never ever planned on becoming rappers. I didn't think it was ever a thing. Like, how can like a white guy from Arbroath become a rapper? It's not going to happen. I love it. I love the culture. I love hip hop. Love everything about it. But I'm not going to be a rapper. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously things changed. We started like getting a bit more serious about it. And then like we'd be messing around. We'd be freestyling and we'd be rapping other people's songs and stuff in the house. And
this thing you're rapping in Scottish for it.
100%. 100% rapping in Scottish. Like so when we started recording, we first started writing, like, oh, we should write your own stuff, because we'd done a show, and just like messing about, and then we're like, oh, we should start writing our own stuff. So we started writing, and everything was 100% Scottish. Like we got to the point, and I'm probably skipping forward a couple of years, but we got to the point where we were making Scottish hip hop to the point that we thought this is awesome. This is like the best Scottish hip hop I've heard. Like we could take this further. We could go down to London, or we could go down to England and play and stuff like that. And we wanted to represent UK hip hop. We were really into UK hip hop.
Trust me, it's still the best Scottish, because I've been listening to some stuff on YouTube and it's Glaswegian rappers, and it's all about. I mean, it's of a place.
Yeah,
it's good. They're talking about their boys and all the rest of it, but it still is the best. What you did was better. Than,
I say that all the time, right? And don't get me wrong. There is a load of really good rappers, and there's stuff guys that have done really have got good stuff. But I always feel like the scene for a certain amount of time, there used to be Edinburgh guys that were really good, and there's people in Dundee, like Ran Clan and stuff were in Dundee like before and stuff, before we were ever around. Melod Elements from Arbroath were through and were doing stuff, and there was a lot of people doing good stuff, but it then kind of just evolved into this, like, you had to be from Glasgow. If you weren't from and you went in that Glasgow scene, you weren't hip hop. You couldn't be doing Scottish hip hop if you weren't from Glasgow. And like you say, it was like everybody was pals, and I would write songs to make you like them, and you'd write songs to make you like them, and that was all it was. It became so tight, and it was just all about drinking Bucky and the flat and going out, and it was for just me, like, if you're not doing that,
your voice, the 2 years voice was as a completely different entity from the Glasgow and the Edinburgh stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot easier to understand, and it was softer if you understand. It was proper. The stuff you were doing was quite. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I wasn't sort of going and torching anybody, or you know. What I mean?
That's it. But it was probably that was probably influenced by a lot of like the pop punk type stuff. I mean, because we were like, we were watching Jackass, we were skateboarding, like we were just having a laugh, and like we loved comedy, and we just love being idiots. And so
That was the culture at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It was
like
totally...
Jackass was huge at the time when you say that.
Massive. Yeah, massive.
Yeah, that obviously was said about the music at the time as well. So all these influences come in, and you go for it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Before we get off the topic, because we're about to go further with the conversation, we need to talk about the original Aussies. And you're on about snowboarding. Did you ever go on that Effective Edge?
Yeah. I used to go Effective Edge all the time. I used to go and get all my DVDs, VHSs, sorry, all my VHSs.
You didn't go on that. You didn't go on any of the trips?
No.
I went on one, and it was the maddest snowboard trip I've ever been on. It was, and the stupid thing is, we're in La Plana. There's 30 of us, and we're the older ones and the younger ones located bangers. 2,000 feet avalanche territory, and they've got banners, right? So they're launching them everywhere, and you had to tape up the bottom of your door because they were putting them under the door. And it was the maddest trip I've ever been on with snowboarders, and it was Effective Edge. Yeah,
who was it? Was Blair on that? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been on holiday with Blair before. We went to Andorra once, like when we got at college with Blair and as well. Obviously, knew him through skating and stuff for years. So yeah, we'd went like snowboarding through there. But I used to go on Effective Edge all the time to get my board sharp, edges sharpened, all that kind of stuff. But I'd buy like apparel and stuff like that there. But then
it's a lot of cool. Well,
yeah, I was cool. I was really cool. But then when Aussies opened up, it became this massive divide. Like I was tied up in Aussies, so it was like, well, that's it. He's not cool because he's a fake. He's one of these fake guys. And there was a big thing, because even back then there was like a big thing because obviously Shiraz and that weren't skaters, and it was almost like it has to be skater owned shop. But obviously there was people that worked there were skating and were like snowboarding and all that kind of stuff. And I was a big part of the buying team with Shiraz. We'd go down to London, we'd go all across Europe, and we were always bringing in brands and stuff. So we like
the brands I remember were like sort of like there was one porn star and like Mecca.
Yeah.
Something Industries. I remember I used to go in and see like all the boards like you mentioned before. I used to go in and see all these boards. It was a cool shop, man.
That was the first thing. So the boards I originally suggested getting boards just for artwork almost, like because I thought it'd be cool to have on the boards and that because we had access to them. So I was looking through the catalog, this is amazing, but we weren't really selling the stuff at the time. And then we started getting we got the boards and stuff, and I was like, well, for having boards we might as well get some trucks and wheels and stuff as well just to do it. And that kind of just evolved from that. But later on with the brands, like we had Mecca, LRG, Rockaware. It was Jay-Z's brand, Rockaware.
Yeah, that was Jay-Z.
So I had Jay-Z's brand and stuff like that. So I remember going to all the trade shows and all this, and it was just I loved it. I love that thing. I love the fashion side of it. I love streetwear and just being involved in those kind of shows where it's just like all about music and fashion and stuff. That's just me to a T. So I used to love going on all those trips and bringing the stuff back and then seeing people like the kids coming and buying stuff. But like shoe wise and stuff, obviously it was all skate shoes, So it was like, well, it was DCs, we sold those a bit. Osiris, I don't even remember those Osiris D3s. There's been a load of them, similar copies come out recently, big chunky shoes with the lace and stuff like that. Honestly, we sold so many of them, it was unbelievable. Like, everybody wanted to have those. You're not even skaters, everyone's just buying them as that was their...
You remember the mad Northwave ones? Like the big toes that like clown shoes.
I think I had boots, I had the boots like that,
It was just mad looking.
Yeah, I had the boots like that, But it wasn't for, actually we started selling snowboards and that as well actually when Effective Edge closed. That was the agreement we had with Effective Edge that we'll never, because they were essentially a snowboard shop but this had skateboard stuff, and we were like selling skate and streetwear, but like we didn't want to touch the snowboard stuff even though we were all snowboard and stuff like that. So that was the agreement we had that we wouldn't touch it. And when Effective Edge closed down, obviously we then had the opportunity to go in and start selling snowboards and stuff. So that's when we got into like
when did that
and all
that? Was that like Millennium or something?
I don't know. It must have been about that.
I just remember it because like in Millennium I'm like 12 years old.
After that?
No, it was after that.
But anyway,
I moved to London in 2003. I can't remember if Effective Edge was open or not, so I don't know. I don't know if we got snowboards in that because when I came back from London, I went back to Aussies for a few. Changed the archive obviously then.
That's just shut like a couple of weeks
ago.
I
just heard that. Is it finally shut now? I seen they were closing because I was speaking.
They were still open last week, but it was.
I hadn't been in for a long while to be honest. But yeah, that was so. Yeah, Aussies was obviously, and that was a major kind of influence as well because it allowed me to have a job on the side that I could just listen to hip hop and write songs. Like I talk about this as well. How like the amount of times I'd be like gripping a skateboard or something. Oh fuck, that's a good lyric. 1 second, and I'll just go and write something down there, and I need to get that later, and then go back to fixing skateboards and stuff. So it just allowed me that kind of freedom to do the stuff I loved on the side, and then obviously make music as well. So it was kind of it was a brilliant place. It was a really massive part of.
I just remember going as a kid and being like just amazed by it. I remember I used to go down the stairs because we were seeing in the hip hop folks.
There's a couple of stairs.
I forgot the place existed till I seen that. I was just like, whoa. Yeah. In the film, the only reason I know this is because James was kicking about the shop at the time.
Yes.
But obviously the film scenes from the multis.
Yeah.
Did you just have a flat in the multis, or did any of you live there? Or?
Yeah, so Gav's mum and dad did, yeah. So they lived up there. They lived up Hilltown, just off the Hilltown, and so that's where we'd spend most of the time. That's where he would like make music and that kind of stuff.
They filmed it in the bottom of the hill multi.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the film. I was away. I wasn't there for any of the scenes I shot in Dundee, which is annoying. But I was at one of the scenes in Glasgow on set there. But
was that for the gig? Like when they were playing?
No, so the Barrowlands. Yeah. No, my son was there. My son's in the crowd for the Barrowlands gig, which I think is quite cool. But that was there's another scene that's kind of. Obviously, I'm not telling you about it because I don't want no spoilers. But there's another scene that was filmed in Glasgow. I was on set for that, so it was that was cool. But I think they filmed at the back of Tannadice as well. Did they?
Yeah,
I seen some pictures. Yeah, there's a part where they're running down in the trailer. I think that's actually in there.
The reason James came in my shop was that he wanted to film in the shop. So I don't know if they were planning to like Aussies or something.
Maybe, yeah.
They filmed right outside the stairs. It was like
right in the back of it. Yeah, okay.
Because they were there all day when they were doing that. And yeah, we've seen them in the multi because look who's sitting here just now. He got a cracking photo of them hanging out the window.
Yeah, brilliant.
Because they came down to my shop right after that. I've got a photo with the two of them in the shop because
I remember you posting it. Yeah.
But when he came in, like Sam's his name, eh?
Sam's the boy plays me. Yeah.
So when he came in, I knew his face, and I knew I was really annoying this because I was just like, what is he in again? And then I said something wrong. I can't remember what it was, and he's in something called Ladhood.
Okay.
And it's really funny, and then it just came to it. So me and him had a bit of a laugh.
Oh, that's cool. You know that.
But you had the pencil beard. Like,
yeah. Oh, he sent me a picture of that, and I was just wetting myself for fuck's sake.
That's what put us off because you had your hair in and the beard and stuff.
So this is the thing. Like, I people say this all the time. People have asked me forever, like, so who's going to play in a film if you ever make a film? And I always said Shrek, and but obviously that never happened. So I went with this with Sam, who's an English boy playing a Scottish boy, playing an American. So he's done really well. But see if he was sitting here now as Sam, you would never think, oh, he should play in a film. He looks just like you. But see when they've got like you're saying, see when they had the hair and the makeup and the beard and stuff. There's times in the film I had to look twice. Like, is that me or is that him? It's so weird, so weird. But it's so really cool. But he was sending me pictures of that. Look, they've just shaved us off.
Yeah, they've done really well.
They're really good. See, like. To stick with the kind of fashion side of thing as well. See the costume team have done unbelievably. Like it's the best part. Like,
I didn't really see Gary. So for what I've watched and seen, Gavin didn't really have too much style. You obviously had like stuff going on with the hair, like the beard. Yeah. I seen you in a lot of like just like no vest, but like tank skater tops at the time. And
so that was like Travis Barker from Blink-182, how he had all those cut off vests and stuff like that. So I was wearing all the cut off vests and I was wearing like shorties, and I actually had loads of I'm not going to say sponsorships, but I was really good at just reaching out to companies and being like, look, we're doing this and we've just signed a record deal kind of thing, any chance. So I was getting like sent free like Vans. I used to wear loads of Vans, obviously, like loads of Vans shoes. And I was playing basketball. There's a lot of And One stuff as well. Like I got hooked up. And One used to send me like boxes of And One, and they used to bring me down to, I think there was maybe it's maybe not there. There was a ticket And One. Oh, that's there actually. The mixtape tour. I got access all areas to that and everything. Got to meet all the basketballers. It was just crazy because I would just reach out and do stuff. But like obviously I still wore like streetwear. There's a load of like Stussy and stuff in the film, which I'm so happy that they kind of capture us, because that was the one thing I was worried about, and it sounds so stupid, but I was always worried that I didn't care if they got the story wrong, but see if they just made us like over the top like bling blings, because I hate it when people are like, oh yeah, there's rappers, and that's just what people associate with hip hop. Do you mean this like gangster type things? Like, we were not gangster rappers. Do you mean we're never interested in that gangster rappers?
A lot of the time you definitely had a different style from him. Yeah. See, sometimes I was like, what's he wearing?
Yeah.
He's just boring.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I honestly, I've like I say, obviously with Aussies and stuff, but I've always been into fashion, so I've always like loved like things like fitting. Like if I've got a pair of shoes that are red, I want to have a red T-shirt or something that's got red in the T-shirt. I was always thinking about what I was wearing, or a red headband or something, whatever I was doing. But I always liked to make it. I always kind of thought about my outfits and stuff more, but just because it was kind of came naturally, I just loved fashion. So, but he was a bit more like kind of laid back. If they told him, if I'd said, oh, you should wear that, you'll wear that.
No, one minute you'd look like he was in a band, and the next minute he was just wearing like a normal arm, and I was like, this seems to be a lot.
Yeah, you know the funniest thing about
Something.
speaking about like, and this is jumping way forward, but we'll come back. The world premiere for the Great Hip Hop Hoax was in South by Southwest in
America.
Yeah, over in Austin, right? It's in Austin, Texas, and we watched the film, and then we did the Q&A, and we had to go down to the front and do Q&A, and like the boys from The View were there, right? So they were there, so we were hanging out with them, like, so they were at our house, and then they were there sitting in the back, and they were answering questions to and it was all like American press, like, so hey, see when you were rapping, like all this kind of stuff, just asking these questions, and I was like, this is years and years later, right? So I'm not trying to be Silibil, I'm just me now, right? And I think I had a pair of like, at the time, maybe like skinny jeans on, and I think I had Vans on, and I had like a kind of trilby type hat, and like my hair was, and like I was just looked like maybe like a hipster indie kid type person, right? And
but you blew up in size at this point.
Well, yeah, we'll be in the belly more so, but I'm trying to do more, yeah. But no, and then there was like, one more question. The guy at the back, and I looked up, and it was fucking Kyle, and I was like, oh no. And honestly, I was probably the only person that understood what he said, to be honest. But he was like, here, see when you're rapping and that these days. He goes, do you dress like a rapper? Because you didn't look like a rapper. And I was just like, for fuck's sake, Kyle. And I was like, what does a rapper look like? But that's like, that's the kind of thing. Like we never fitted into that stereotypical hip hop thing. At times we did. Don't get me wrong. There was times where we were wearing basketball vests and like oversized tops.
Oh, it was a Beastie Boys then.
Very much so, Beastie Boys type thing. Yeah. See, like with the trucker hats and all that kind of thing. Like I remember when it kind of changed. Like hip hop had changed when we were down in London, and like Eminem came out, right, and then all of a sudden like things were mad, and obviously massive influence. And then there was, because of Eminem, there was like all the raucous stuff and everything started coming out, and then there was like, you know what I mean, like Pharaoh Monch and like Talib Kweli. All these guys became cool. Like all these guys that were actually proper hip hop guys were cool, as opposed to the gangster rap stuff that you'd been used to before. And it really opened the door for the underground to come up through, which I was loving, a massive fan of. But then it took another, when 50 Cent came out, Eminem signed 50 Cent, and all of a sudden everything just switched back. Everyone wanted to be gangster. Even Eminem wanted to be gangster, wearing do-rags and all, like the hats up and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, this is horrible. I hate this. I'm not going to start dressing like this just because everyone else is. So we went the other way. We started dressing a bit more like Pharrell, like Williams. You know, when he was like, when he came out with NERD, and he was doing like the skate stuff, and because that was us, it was skating stuff, right? So I was like, oh, this is class. You can actually be a skater and a rapper, like what it wasn't really seen before. So we started doing that, and then then Pharrell came out after that, actually, and we were already dressing like that because of the skating thing. And I remember we used to be in like clubs, R&B clubs, hip hop clubs and stuff in London, and like black guys would come up to us like dressed like oversized, and would put in, oh, hey man, where'd you get your sweatpants from? Or, where'd you get your hats from? Stuff like that. And I was like, from Camden Town. This is like a fucking retro thing I picked up in Camden Town. But everybody wanted to start dressing like Pharrell at that time, and then you see the massive shift again away from that, like. So it just comes and goes. It totally comes and goes. But like we just always were like your Beastie Boys were spot on. Like somebody said that in the documentary as well. Like they were just like the Eminem meets the Beastie Boys.
You've taken your influences from everything like beforehand and like mixed it in and used it essentially. Yeah,
absolutely.
So like, you've taken your skating, like your Jackass, the comedy. Well, what hits me about the two, like you used to like gel. You'd have met them in college, and you're starting to gel and starting to like obviously do the rap and stuff. Yeah. So when does it start to get like? You were a three-piece to start with, you know.
Well, so we started off with two of us, and then we, you're right. There was a friend of ours who was one of the skaters back in the day who would come to all the things with us. We'd go out to all the hip hop events. We'd, like the Purple. I don't know if you remember the Purple Rooms. Yeah. So we were at the Purple Rooms and everything all the time. Place probably before your time. We were.
I was on the door of the Purple Rooms one night only. One night only.
Probably threw me out. No, we went. So we used to go to the Purple Rooms and stuff and watch all the old hip hop stuff and that. And it was always like guys would go out. There'd be the after parties and all this kind of stuff. Just as normal, any age. But one of the boys used to love rapping, and he used to like rap and stuff as well. But he was always a wee bit nervous. Like he was like maybe a bit awkward around people when it comes to that. But if like in his company and his crew kind of thing, he was a wild man. Like he would just switch like to a wild man. He was really talented, super intelligent, and so he used to start writing rhymes and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, you should do stuff with us. He would never do it, and then he would do it when we're just the three of us in the room. And then eventually, I think we got him on an open mic one night. I think it was when after the Purple Rooms, it was on Air East or something. Like, remember that place? Like it was, I think it was a church now, maybe actually, or it became the church or something. That place on along Bell Street or something like that. There was like so they moved
next
to there.
Door to the hotel.
Yeah, so they moved there, and there used to be hip hop acts come, and obviously everybody always open up the mic, like whoever was performing, if it was Ugly Duckling or people under the stairs or something, they'd always like be like, oh, if any rappers want to grab the mic, and obviously we were like, straight on it, yes, get on the mic. So, and we managed to convince him to get up with us one night, and I remember me and Gav looking and being like, right, he's hooked now, eh? So we brought him in, and then we became three-piece. So we went down to London for the audition originally. There was three of us, and when we come back, he kind of decided.
This audition was in the paper, or it was on like it was to be the next M&M.
Yeah, so we seen this on a this is right, because that's the part before we got to London. So we seen this online actually. It was on like some sort of hip hop forum or something, like on. We used to go to the library, and just like that's what we do.
Yeah, this is like the early birth of the internet.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
we never had internet. Yeah,
forums,
we never had. And it's funny because I say that like my kids wouldn't believe it, and like when I tell them, like we never even had internet, never mind smartphones. Like what are you on about? So we had to go to the library and stuff, and we're in the library, and we'd look through the forums, and we'd see like we'd go on like battle rap pages and stuff, and we seen this advert came up, and it was like, are you the next Eminem? Are you the next Usher? And obviously we were a bit more Eminem than Usher, but we thought, we're definitely that. We could go. We were Scottish at this time, and we're like, yeah, we could definitely do that. So we ended up going down to the audition, and that's the whole story where it's like, oh, then they kind of we got laughed at, and it was like it was more like we
should be crushing at the time. Man.
Yeah,
that's how we went all the way down.
And we were so confident as well. Like, we truly believed in ourselves that we were part of UK hip hop scene. I mean, that's what we felt like.
But when you go down on the bus, it's a total mirror, a train spotting.
Yes.
Begbie, and
yeah.
go down to do the deal.
Yeah.
And then it fails.
Who's got the kids?
But when you're on the bus, I'm looking at it going, that's train spotting. It's exactly the same. Yeah. It goes down and they fail.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, it's that journey that's like. Do you mean that's it? Right, that's it. It was so optimistic.
It must have been killing.
Yeah, all optimistic on the way down. Like, it was like, oh, this is great. We're off to this, but on the way back,
it was the way they described it to you. There was another said that like they basically laughed and said it would never.
Yeah.
What was it? The rapping proclaimers.
The rapping proclaimers. Yeah.
Okay, on the hip hop hooks they're drawn and they're
it's animations. Yeah.
With, do you think they were the people there? You must have looked at them and went, are they going to take us for?
Well, do you know what? I think we were just that naive and confident that we thought they would. Yeah, we thought like they're going to hear us and they'd be like, holy shit, this is unreal. Like, they'd definitely sign these guys. And they were just kind of looking at us and say, what the fuck is this?
The funny thing is, like, because like take away, obviously, if somebody doesn't believe in something, they're not even going to like entertain it to start with. But obviously, with the foundation of what you had and the tunes that you came out, like especially like Medicine for me. Remember, like even the first time we had that on for weeks, did we? It just. So the point I'm making is, obviously the foundation was there for greatness. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just because they came in and heard that you're Scottish, they just laughed at it straight away.
Yeah.
You've summed it up. There's no internet. That was the problem. That to me was your problem, because you were very talented and rapping in the Scottish. It sounds amazing, but there was no now. Yeah. If you were the first on the scene, there was internet. You go and promote yourself.
Yeah,
and sell.
That's
it. You do it.
Yeah, the world changed majorly, and to be honest, one of the first people to change that actually was Mike Skinner from the Streets. Remember, he did that whole first album in his bedroom, and that was the first thing. I was like, what do you mean you did it in your bedroom? Before that, you had to go to the studio, you had to spend a load of money, you had to get a record deal, do this kind of stuff. The world's changed now. Exactly. Totally changed.
Voices from voices from all over Britain, all over the world, and different voices. But at that time, you must have been like. Yeah, they were aliens.
That's kind of what it felt like. Yeah, they're just like as if, what is this? Like, but to us, we're like, what do you mean? What is it? Like, we're fucking killing it up in Dundee. Do you mean? But it's like, but nobody cared. No one ever cared. Like, they had a vision in their head for what they thought was what they wanted, and we didn't fit.
They want to package something.
That's it. And I say, like, I seen a quote from the girl, like the girl that plays my wife in the film. She did an interview thing and she nailed it. What she said, if you take away like the guys and you take away all the stuff, what you're left with is a story of people that have a talent but they don't get accepted because of one reason: what they look like, where they're from, what they sound like. Don't get the opportunities because of that.
Basic
and it's
xenophobia.
That's what it is. And it was like, you had to then, like, how are they going to overcome that? And it's about the idea of trying to overcome this thing. And I've said it like to Tam Cowan the other day. I was when I was speaking to them, and I said the thing. It's like it's like Scotland in general. It's always like Scotland. We're always it's an underdog story. We're the underdogs, and but we always believe we can do better. Do you mean we always look at football, and we always believe we'll make it this time. We'll make it this time. Finally, we have made it. But do you mean for years and years, we're so close. We'll do it. We'll do it. We're that kind of nation. Do you mean it's that? Brave heart spirit. Do you mean? It's
like the German strong world, but just not as good as them.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. Do you mean it's that brave heart mentality? Do you mean it's just that we believe we could do it, and we at that point believed we could do it, and we just got totally rejected. Like so on that.
That gets one of our next point. Well, you're on the bus and you're coming back and you've been rejected, so you're feeling at like an all-time low. So you've got to pick yourself back up. So this is where this belief comes back into it.
Yeah. Well, do you know what it was? I mean, it was totally heartbreaking. We'd went away, and I think we took a couple of weeks where we didn't even see each other. It was just like fuck. That's it. What do we do?
Both took it pretty bad.
Yeah, because we thought
the three you went.
The three went down, and then after that, I think that's when maybe Ozzy decided I'm not gonna do it.
That kind of comes over on comes on the documentary where he's obviously crushed and doesn't.
Yeah, I think he probably didn't want it as much as we did, or didn't need it as much as we did as well. Like we really wanted this. I mean, from a few years before that, whereas he was kind of he came in at a later stage sort of thing, and he had other things going on, and it was almost like he would love it, but didn't need it, like the sort of thing. And we really, really needed that to happen, because that was our life. Was we were going to be this thing. And
see, before you left the office, did you say anything to them? Did you give them 5 barrels?
When we left the audition?
Yeah.
No, we didn't. There's a bit that I'm not going to get into, right? Because no, I'll tell you why. No, because this is what made me start to write my book. Right, there's another part of the story that's never been told, and I don't want to tell it now, but I will kind of flirt with the idea of it. There's there was a part that was never told, right? After that, on the back of that, and that I thought I want to write that. I want to write that part. So I wrote it. I watched the podcast you did. That was an older one you did with what's the point of the writer boy?
Johnny Proctor.
Yes, I watched that just recently actually, and it was funny with hearing him talk about how he started writing the book, and he was saying he just wrote something, and then it was no structure to it. That's what I did. I started writing this chapter, and without thinking it was a chapter, I just wanted to write that part of the story, and I put it to the side. And then I was like, do you know what? Nobody's really talked about the Brit Awards properly, so that was my thing. It was only me that was there, so I know everything happened. So I wrote the Brit Awards, and I put that to the side. And then I started how do I piece all these things together, and I ended up trying to connect it. Or what happened in between, that sort of thing.
Because they went over it, I can't wait to see what's in the book, because they just brush over it, and I was like, what else happened there?
Yeah, I know. Well, there is a few bits like this in it, and this is the thing with the film as well. I was saying to James about this, how he wanted to make, he in California Scheming Film, he wanted to make a film that was kind of the general telling of Silibil Brains and the whole story that happened, right? And he had 90 minutes to do it pretty much, right? So you're not going to be able to fit everything into a 90-minute film. So I'm kind of glad, because it still gives me opportunities to be, there's parts there that have not been told yet that I still want to tell. But there was a kind of point where I'll kind of brief over it, right? So after that rejection, right, what they did is they said, we'd signed a thing we were called B Production at the time. We're B Production, that's us, right? And said, no, we need individual forums. We're like, what do you want individual forums for? We're a group. Do you want a group? Something? No, we need to have individual forums. So fuck it, there we go, fuck it, whatever. Give them the forums. And I actually got a phone call from them, and flown back down to London, and they were trying to offer me a record deal to go solo.
So that's why it's not it.
So that's why it's never been told, eh? But I mean, I kind of get why it wasn't told in things like the hip hop folks and stuff, because I remember speaking to Jeannie about it, and she'd said that, well, it kind of ruins the story a wee bit. It's like, well, they could have made it, but I couldn't make it because I know what happened, and I'm the only one that knows what happened. So when I went down there, I went into a conference room, and it literally were offering me a record deal. That's it. Yeah, we decided we want to sign you, and I was like, that's fucking really weird. But we need you to be a bit more London, eh? We need you to be a bit more London, and we need to be can you be a bit more like garage music? I think garage, Craig David is blown up at the time. It's So Solid crew were coming through, and they wanted me to change my style to be more garage and speak less Scottish and be a bit more London. And I was like, there's no chance I'm turning my back on what I do. So the irony there is unbelievable, eh? Because I had the opportunity to go away and do my own thing and become this superstar. If that's what I wanted, I could have done it. But I wanted to be authentic, and I wanted to be Scottish hip hop, and I wanted to be thing. And eventually we just fucked the whole thing and became Americans anyway. So the irony there. But that whole story, I tell that kind of whole story because that's something that's never been mentioned, eh? Because
I wonder if you've seen it like what we said of the two years. Obviously, you were the more packageable. you had like more of a style sort of going
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
maybe they thought of sort of they could package it in that way.
But but do you know what? Even on stage, and this is not like me trying to put people down or whatever, but even on like. Gav is a brilliant writer, okay, and a brilliant producer, right? He had that kind of side, but that's why he wanted to go like, oh, brains, I'm the brains behind the project, sort of thing. See on stage, I think that's where I used to want to be on stage 100%. So when it came to being performing, I always made a live show is what I feed off the energy of the crowd, and I give it straight back. And I love being up on a stage in front of people. Well, maybe not so much now, but I did. That was my thing.
And this is when gigs were gigs, especially.
Yeah, it used to be mad. So and I used to like love being part of that, and I think that maybe made me stand out a bit more. Like I was a bit more of a performer or an entertainer. If you can
control a crowd, especially, that's
absolutely.
A big thing for like companies and everyone to watch.
Yeah, especially as an MC, that's what an MC is supposed to do. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're supposed to be like kind of working with the crowd. Whereas I think Gav was maybe more reserved when it came to performance, but he did put a lot into like the writing and the producing side of things. So it was a bit of, and that's why it worked, I guess, as a duo. But maybe it made me stand out more in those situations. That's maybe why, I don't know.
So when you get back up here, how long does it take for you to decide, let's be American?
Yeah, well, so
there's a story behind that.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, so we still thought, now, do you know what? When we eventually picked ourselves back up, I'm like, right, fuck it, we can do this. We've still got the same music. We've still got good music. We still believe in it.
So how long did that take you? The 2 weeks you hadn't seen each other for, and then eventually you get back together and
well, they just start speaking again. Like, okay, like, do you want to still carry on? Well, yeah, let's do this. What somebody wants to do a gig, so we maybe did a gig in Aberdeen or something. I don't know. But we kind of got back into it, and then right, let's just try again. We'll try just go direct to other record labels, just because they said no. Like, fuck them. We've still got this good music. So we went. We started like phoning up record label. We went back to the library. We start writing down the names of the record labels, getting CDs, and we'd send CDs out and stuff. And we were looking for gigs and stuff as well. I thought if we perform down in London so people could see us performing.
Is London the main hub that this is going on?
Pretty much, pretty much. Because I mean, nowadays obviously there's loads of stuff. Like you've got like Scouse Boys coming out and like Birmingham and everything. But back then it was like it had to be. It was Brixton or do you mean
Billy McKenzie? Billy McKenzie was unbelievable singer. Yeah, but he was always told you have to go to London, and Billy was a Dundee boy. He didn't want to hear his dogs, he hear his whippets and all that, and he didn't want to go, and then he eventually went down there, and that sickened him. He didn't want to be away, and that's part of it. Billy was brilliant, but he would have been absolutely worldwide massive if he'd wanted to be. Yeah, but he didn't want it.
Why? I wrote a song on my album actually called Home. I wrote it with someone else, and actually I've wrote it with a guy who's I've got him playing keys and stuff on it and singing. He's from Arbroath originally, but he's living in London now as he does like theatre and all this kind of stuff. He's doing really well for himself. But we got talking about being in London and coming back home again, and like you talked about Arbroath earlier on, like it wasn't until I came back from London that I realised, do you know what, just how good Arbroath was a place to grow up in. Like it was like, because I grew up wanting to move away. I wanted to go to the big city. I wanted to go and see stuff. And then you see all that, and it wasn't until you came home I was like, do you know what, I don't think I'd want to bring up my kids anywhere else. I would definitely wouldn't want to bring them up in London. No. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you don't realise, I think, so the song's called Home, and that's what it's about. It's about the idea of chasing the dream, and then when you actually get to the dream you realise, do you know what, it's actually I kind of miss home, I kind of miss back. So that's probably the same situation. But at that time we started sending stuff out again, right?
You're back
just to get it back on track.
So
here we go. So we want to get we still think we can make it and stuff, right? So we start phoning up companies, and it would be like, and this is in the hip hop folks as well. And we're phoning up companies, and it's like, we're two Scottish rappers, like, we're a hip hop duo from Dundee, like, fuck, from where? Like, nah, I don't think so, mate. So that's how it went. So again, you start to say, oh, this is fucking bullshit. I feel like we're back in audition again. So once, just as a joke, because I don't know, do you remember the Jerky Boys? Do you remember the Jerky Boys? They were like, I don't know if you'd be like, it was like these guys from New York, right? And they did prank phone calls, but they did like the prank phone calls way before people were doing prank phone calls and stuff. And they actually got a record deal, I think. They had like CDs and stuff. You could buy their CDs just of them doing these things and these pranks and these characters. So we were loving that kind of shit and Jackass and all that kind of stuff, right? So just being an arse, I was like, hey, what's up? We're from California, we're in London, and that accent was better than that at the time. So just as a total joke, just to entertain ourselves really, because we're bored of fucking people saying no to us. And the guy was, oh, that sounds great, could you send us your CD? And we're like, what the He's like, yeah. Yeah, well, give us the address. We'll write it down. So like, came off the phone. I'm like, holy shit, like, how's that? Do you mean just like that? We just pretended we're from California and we're living in London, and now they want that's it. Yeah, now they want the music, but they didn't want it before. So we did it again a couple of times, and then we didn't think anything of it. We just thought, great, that's a way in. Right now, then at least they'll listen to our CD stuff, and that's all we thought. And then actually, Gavin, so I have to give him props on this one because I don't think he's maybe pushed that as much as well. But what he did once was he went and he recorded a verse over a beat that he'd made, right, in an American accent. He come down Aussies and he was like, I found this new rapper, what do you think of this? And I put it on, and I remember listening to it thinking, fuck, this guy's alright. His style's very like ours. Like, this is kind of cool. Who is this guy? He was like, oh no, what do you think? He was being really weird about it, and then he told me, oh, that's me. And I was like, shut up, you're fucking joking. It was American accent stuff. I'm like, why are you doing that? This is so stupid. Like, why would you do that? And that's how it kind of kicked off. We just kind of started being like, should we try? Like, and it took a while to convince me that that's what we should do, because I really wanted to be Scottish hip hop. I wanted to represent and keep it real, like you say. But
how long did it take you to get into to nail the accent and especially perform it? Especially if you got to record it or something. Well,
we're doing. I mean, there was certain words, and I think there's still those words would kind of haunt me, but we always did accents, like, because of like they're saying like the Jerky Boys and Jackass. We were always fanning about it, and like always putting on stupid accents and just being idiots. And that just comes with that skateboarding background, I think. So like we were always kind of doing it, so it wasn't like a big transition to kind of put on the accent a bit more like regular. But recording it, when you record it, you'd find words like all those like ouds words, or like if you said dude, or you said a could, or like should, would, always sounded really like so Scottish. So like you'd be full on American then. Would.
The songs you've done. I think the accent when you're talking, as an American, is a very nondescript. It's not like it's like a mid sort of thing. Yeah. But when you're rapping, it's. For me, it's New York. It sounds like the Beastie Boys. It's more. It goes to that, and you've got that twang. But there's certain words that you use, and like that you hear they're Scottish. When you're going on about something about the willy, you're showing your willy to a woman, right? I was like, they didn't use willy.
I know, right enough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's loads of stuff, but you say that right because you know the story, not the willy thing. You're right. There is parts of that.
I heard that. How did they get away with that?
Yeah, I know. That's it. But that's the thing is, right? This is what people say all the time. How did you get away with it? How did people not know? Like, you don't even sound American. It's like, because you know I'm not American.
You do. But there's certain things. There's only a couple of things in songs where I've went, just because you know.
This is the thing,
because we know, you can hear it a wee bit, and then. But I was laughing. See when they did that, and see when they did some of the I'm like, that's so Scottish.
How did you get away with that? I know that's it, but people just didn't think, because we didn't give any indication away. So it wasn't
because they wanted you to be. They
seen us as this American guys, and that's it. So they weren't even thinking, are they American? Maybe they could be from Manchester. Nobody's thinking. They're just thinking American because we told them we're American and we sound American. So and we fitted the bill. Do you mean that was it? So yeah. So we ended up recording all the songs, same songs, exact same songs, same beats, same lyrics, same everything, but in American accents. And then we started sending them down, and we got one gig. We got a gig down in London. From the guy that said to us, I'll put on a show. Do you want to come down and do like a showcase? It's like an industry showcase. We didn't even know what that was. But we went down, and then we're like, right, so we're kind of like being Californian, right? That's it, we're from California. So we went up on stage, and we were like, hey, we're from California. And the crowd was like buzzing, because it had been like, maybe like a wee guy with an acoustic guitar or something playing, and then it'd been like a boy band kind of thing, and then we'd come on just like fucking like the Beastie Boys, and everyone was like, holy shit, what's this? So people, they were loving it, and we were just absolutely buzzing. And we come off stage like, came off stage, and we went back, and again, I've told this story before, but like somebody approached us, and like this London guy, and he was like, we were like, that was amazing, guys. Like, where are you from? Like, and we're like, still, because we were so buzzing. The plan was never to tell. The plan would be to speak to people in Scottish, just rap in American. That was it. But because we were in characters on stage, we just kept it going because the adrenaline was flowing. And we're like, California, and he's like, fuck, that's so good, man. He's like, listen, here's my business card. Like, call me tomorrow. I want you to come and speak to me. But honestly, I absolutely love it. I would love to work with you guys. Yeah, man, no worries. Check the fucking business card. He was from Island Records, and he's
which is massive.
Island Records. I think I've got a thing.
The thing is with Island Records.
Well, Island was Universal, yeah, part of Universal. And this is like, see that thing there? So this was the first thing the first meeting I ever went to. And it's like, you have to tick if you were a visitor or a contractor, and I decided to write pimp and just tick pimp because I was a fucking idiot. So
see, the thing I think Island Records, see if it went that way, I think you probably would have been alright, because Island Records at the time they were diverse. They were everything from Anthrax to they were doing
reggae and everything, the stuff.
So I think that's where you might have been.
I know.
All right.
I know, but that was the crossroads, right? Because it was a case of, right, shit, what do we do? Right, if we go in tomorrow and we just tell him, look, we're actually from Scotland, but we just pretend we're American on stage, he's either going to go, that's fine, doesn't matter, like, let's just keep that up because I love it, or he's going to go, get the fuck out of here.
Do you think he would have?
I don't know. We'll never know.
He kind of says on the thing it would have been alright, but when you're like, you talk.
Exactly. It's easy to say now, isn't it? Because you don't want to look silly. But it could have went either way. So it was either we do that or we just go. There's no turning back. We just go. We're fucking from California now, and but we went with the latter.
Like so much like negativity and people throwing you down, especially. You come to this one gig and this has been presented.
That's it. You're getting an opportunity that this is what you dream of. Do you mean this is what we're so? It was either like, that's it, there's no turning back.
That's crazy though, how much it went from quickly destroyed to quickly
regularly. That's it, I know. But we didn't actually sign with Island Records, actually. We didn't sign with Island. They told us, and the guy was brilliant. I see, looking back, that's the one thing I really wish we had worked with that guy, because he was such a cool guy, totally hip hop guy. He totally got us. He really, really got us, and he would have been brilliant. And that was the plan. The plan was to go and sign with Island Records and with this guy, and he said, I can't sign you because I need you to have a manager first, because you need to have sort of representation. I can't just go sign you because I could be throwing like just the random dodgy deals at you and stuff. So I had to get a manager, and he gave us a list of managers, and we went and interviewed a couple of managers, I guess. And they went to this one guy who was like, it was probably the most professional. He's the guy that signed us, like Charlotte Global, and we signed with him. Like again, so this is like all just snowballed so fast. They're like, next thing you know, we've got a management deal.
Is this just down? You went down to London. You've stayed. This is the one trip you've had this offer. You've got to now get a manager. Yeah,
we went down there with the idea that we'll maybe stay for a month and see if we could push it. Did the gig, and we'll see if we get more gigs when we're there. And then it just kind of snowball, and then that was it. I was in London, living in London now. We signed a management deal with this guy, and we're like, right, brilliant, let's go back to Ireland. And he's like, nah, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, we've got a record deal waiting for us. Let's go and get it. This is what we came for, and all the way from California. And and he was like, he had connections at Sony and stuff. So he was like, listen, there was the band Big Brothers. I don't know if you remember them. There was like, they were like a hip hop R&B group, like boys and girls, and they had like a couple number ones and stuff like that. You wouldn't know. You probably know if you heard one of the songs, or whatever. But they were kind of topping the charts and stuff, and they were signed to Sony through him. So he had really good connections with Sony, so he was just like, look, we'll go and shop you around, and then we'll see what we can get the best deal. So the boy from Ireland was furious, because he was like, he'd put us to him so that he would sign the record deal back with him, and he ended up shopping us around, and we ended up falling out with this guy a little bit. Like, not falling out, but he was obviously angry with us. Not that we could have done it, and we'd already signed a management deal and stuff. So we ended up signing with Sony. We finally got the record deal, and that's why all the see all the VIP passes all around there. That's all my actual access. I had a pile like this big. Every time you went into Sony, they give you, like, even though they knew who they were, because we were there all the time, you still have to sign a pass and get a pass on and stuff. So I just kept all the passes and stuff every time you went in there, and that was us signed to one of the biggest record labels in the world. It was just wild, absolutely wild, as Americans, and nobody knew. Did you
get an advance at this point? Yeah.
Well, see how it worked. This is the thing that annoys me, right? There's been so many stories, and like Gav's told about how much money we made and all this kind of stuff. And I just seen someone the other day. It was a podcast he'd done, and he went, "Yeah, we went down with like £90, and then we turned that like into like $1 million in a month." And I was like, where the fuck's my cut of this million? Do you know what I mean? It wasn't really like that. It was basically like, we did get advances, but everything was paid for us, right? So like, we got money every month put in our bank so that we could just have expenses. We got a house, we got like
so
taxes. They sorted everything. Like we didn't pay a penny when we were in London, and we got money like every month in our bank just so we could live and do stuff. But like taxes, like, we'll have to go there, or just put it on the account. I'll just put it on the account.
You're not letting your bed at night in this who's going on.
Yeah, what have we done? What have we done? No, it's like, this is brilliant. I'm living a dream. But obviously, like,
what age are you at this point?
I was 23 to 25.
Fucking right, you want to do all
that. Oh, mate, it was like the parties we went to was wild. Or I'd went to.
But again, because there's no internet and they've not got the mobile phones, that's how you're getting away.
I know, that's it, exactly.
Now, 2 minutes of you that.
Yeah,
That's
it. But that's it. That's the whole thing.
Like Camden.
No, so we were just north of Camden, pretty much. We were in, we were on the Piccadilly actually. So it was actually perfect because it was easy to get straight in and out of London, into the centre. I mean, but we were at Arnold's Grove, which is just kind of so Camden's there and it's just a bit over there, kind of between Camden and like Tottenham and all that kind of area, like all that kind of Tottenham Hale kind of place. But yeah, we were living there, so we had a house there and like just lived, and then we just lived the dream for like 2-3 years, just like wild, and American the whole time. It's mental. It's mental.
I can't believe that you come up to get married.
Yeah, I used to come up all the time. I used to take weekends away. Like, I'm just going to. I just like wouldn't say anything. I would just like jump on the mega bus, 14 hours back up the road again. Have a weekend like with my girlfriend at the time, and then back down again.
And Hip Hop Hawks, when you come back to get married, I'm sitting like that going, how the what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, do you know what? Right. So I started to try and be clever with it, right? Because I felt like it was not coming to the end, but it felt like we need to start.
Was that
bringing in somehow?
Was that basically a true story? But I think you had enough material. You could have released something, and you thought it was good enough, but you wouldn't. You didn't want to release it.
He wouldn't want to release it.
I think it's
what it says in the document.
You
were up for getting the stuff released, but he would put a kibosh on it, kind of thing.
Kind of, but it wasn't because the reason he says it was because of it. It was like, well, I don't think it was because the reason he says it wants to, and that's fair enough. But he liked to have control of everything, right? And basically we had our song "Losers," one of the songs "Losers." That was going to be the first single, and that was actually one of the first songs that became a bit more punky as well. We had like a double beat in the chorus, and we had guitar on it and like drums, like live drums and everything on it. And that's when we kind of brought in the band as well. Don't know.
The document you see Colin to Harding.
That's right. Yeah, so Colin's my boy, right? So like as soon as there was an opportunity to bring anyone into the band, like obviously I was going to bring Colin, right? So I said, right, I've got a drummer, sorted, because he was a drummer in PMX at the time. So he came down, lived in London. So obviously he knew the story. So now we had a couple of guys that knew the story, like that we could speak Scottish around and stuff like that. But we had the band, so we recorded like that song with like live drums and everything. And it felt brilliant. It was like quite, and it was, even when you've listened back to it now, it's like that could still probably go out. Do you mean and be a song nowadays, even now? But what the record label did was they got, and the management company, they got someone else that we worked with loads of times on a lot of other songs, a producer guy, and they wanted it to sound a bit more poppier. So like he then brought in like some like synths and that kind of stuff as well. And there's not much difference. There's like the kind of punkier version, and there's the song that does sound a bit more complete, and it's got synths in it and like different bass sounds and that kind of stuff. But what that would have meant was that he now owned a bit of the publishing. And 100% that's why Gav didn't want to release the stuff, because he knew that would cut into like the money that he could have made, sort of thing, and that's why he held it back a lot of stuff time as well.
Do you
that kind of thing.
Think then going back, you want to go Island? I think Island would have released your stuff very quickly.
Yeah, well,
you would have still had the problem with the publishing with Gav, essentially, would you not?
No, I mean if we went to Island instead of Sony originally.
Sony.
And yeah, so we recorded those songs with Island. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, well, so I tell you what happened actually. So Sony desperately wanted to get us out. Sony loved us, and then what happened was, this is the start of the downfall, right? Sony were merging with BMG, who were another powerhouse, right? And they were merging and becoming Sony BMG, which it now is Sony BMG. And so they started releasing load of acts, right? Okay, well, we don't need you anymore. We're not going to release you anymore. But they kept us. And we were being told that we will be the first act released on Sony BMG in the UK. I'm like, fuck, that's mad. This is so wild. But we just need the paperwork to go through. Just waiting the paperwork. It'll be end of the month. Paperwork will be done, and then we'll shoot the video and stuff, and we're ready to go. Perfect. So end of the month comes, and nothing's happening. So like, oh no, yeah, there's still waiting on. There's still some legal stuff between the merger. I mean, it's a massive merger, right, between two huge companies. And it just went on and on. And we'd be like, okay, but end of February, like it'll be done by end of February, it'll be done by end of February, or whatever month it was. And then end of February came, honestly, it's just almost there, end of March. You'll usually be the first label on it. So we are now, we'd played like, I'm maybe jumping forward a bit, but we'd played Brixton Academy. Yeah, we played Brixton Academy, we've been playing with D12, we'd done all this kind of stuff, we'd been on MTV, we'd been everywhere. Like we were literally, like, this is the next big thing, can't wait till the album's out. And we were about to release a single. And then it just took so long. So that's why we never came out. So Sony probably would have put us out, but they had to wait on that paperwork going through, which is why there was a massive delay. So I was getting frustrated. I was sitting like, feel like, like we say, like strike while the iron's hot. Like the iron was burning. Like it was like, this is the fucking, these guys are going to be massive. And then when we were on MTV as like,
what was that the first time you were on TV, or was it the Channel 4 thing?
We'd been on a few times on MTV. Like that was the biggest thing we'd done, like MTV, like for sure. But we'd been on like they had this like the top 10 acts or something. Yeah. The top 10 acts of 2024. That's what it was. The top 10 acts of 2024, and we were on there. There was us. There was Block Party. There was
there something you were on with Kasabian?
No, I've got. There's pictures in one of those books with me and Kasabian, because I was like, I was at the Brit Awards. I was at the Brit Awards, yeah. So I was hanging out with Kasabian at the Brit Awards, as an American guy. But yeah, that's we'd been on MTV, we'd been on Zane Lowe and everything. I don't know if you remember, like Zane Lowe's show. It was totally cool. We'd been on Zane Lowe's show, and he was like, everyone was tipping us. This is one of the massive acts of 2024. Sorry, 2004.
When you've done all this, is anybody starting to like? Obviously, people are recognising you and sitting and going, they aren't American or whatever.
Well, not really. Like again,
did you not get pushed at the Brit Awards and start speaking to somebody? Daniel Benefield. No, I don't know if I did. I still don't know to this day if I did or not. What happened was, again, that's in the documentary. It tells quite well that like I'd been speaking to him and we'd been getting on well, and I was speaking to his sister.
You get to tell how you got into it as well, just before.
All right, yeah. So we just jumped in as the Brit Awards first time. Right, okay. So we're at a bar, right? We're at a bar in London, normal bar that we'd always go to, me, Gavin, a couple of people, and we'd been in the office, and we didn't even know the Brit Awards were on that night. We weren't interested. We were just interested in
in February.
Yes, February. Yeah. And it was the 25th anniversary. This was 2005, right? It was the 25th anniversary of the Brit Awards, and we'd been in the office, and obviously Jamelia's signed to our manager, right? So she's in there, and then everyone was a big hype, and I was like, "Oh fuck! Can we not get tickets?" Like on the day of the Brit Awards, how can you not get us tickets? Like, nah, listen, it's fucking so expensive. Like we've got a table of 10, and Jamelia's performing. It's all about Jamelia, sort of thing. But maybe next year you guys will be there, sort of thing. No worries. And so I was like, we went to the bar, and I'm like, I kind of wish we could go. It sounds like a good party. So I was like, why don't we just go and blag our way in? We used to blag our way into everything, by the way. Like I would see the amount of passes I've got, like from gigs. Like wasn't on the guest list, but I just went there and said, should be on the Sony guest list, and they'd be like, check. And obviously being American, they can't. Oh fuck, maybe he's serious here, maybe. So no, there's nothing. You're not. The names are there. Is it maybe under my real names? Under Billy. No, it's not there. Check the Charlotte Global ones. It must be on that. And so he started making them panic. You're like, maybe this guy should be in here. So eventually, just like, all right, tell you what, I'll just give you a pass. And away you go. Every fucking gig, I seen almost every band on the fucking planet at the time, and half the time I just blagged my way in. So I thought, I could not do the same at the Brit Awards. Surely I could do the same at the Brit Awards. But obviously this is massive, like there's huge security, everything. So it turned up, and again, there's a good bit in the book about this because it goes into more details. Like when I tell about like how I'd go up, and I knew obviously that I'm not looking for the main entrance, right? I'm looking for the guest and the artist entrance. So I just went straight up to security, like, can you tell me where's the artist entrance? Oh, right, because then obviously an American guy asking, how do I get around to that? Like, you must be somebody, right? Okay, on you go, it's round that way, just go around. So I went around there. When I went round, Mike Skinner from the Streets was there, standing outside, right, speaking to someone with glass now, and he was just kind of, and I was walking, I was like, for fuck's sake, I've not got a ticket, I'm going to look like a fucking idiot here. And he was just like, and he was totally cool. He was like, all right, man, I was going to say, yeah, come on, just because I had a blazer on, right? It was when people were wearing like jeans and a fucking t-shirt and a blazer kind of thing, and one of the girls that was in the bar with us, she had like this silk scarf, and I was like, so yeah, give me your scarf, so I look more dressed up. And he was like, so I had this fucking silk scarf, right, hanging away down, like just looked like a fucking idiot. And I was like, right, went up to the door, same thing, yeah, should be on the guest list, blah blah. I know you're not, and I was like, is it under that? No, it's not under that. I thought, right, fuck, it's not going to work here. And I was like, right, well, is Jamelia in that there? And one of the girls, like, I'll not say her name, but one of the girls that was working when Jamelia was friends with us as well, and I was like, oh, could you just get her? And would you mean? I was like, no, listen, I'm her stylist. I said, and she was having a disaster with her hair. I said, and they're needing me to get in there and sort it out. And I said, honestly, you're going to get in trouble if you don't let me in, because it's going to be fucking chaos. I'll go and get the girl. So she goes and gets the girl. Now, nobody knows I'm coming, so the girl doesn't even know like I'm coming. It's not like I was planning it. And she comes to the door and she's just looking at me, but she obviously had a couple of drinks on, and she's, oh, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, could you just tell them that I need to come and sort Jamilia's hair? And like, just thinking, right, this will go two ways. She's already going to go, what the fuck are you talking about? Or she's going to go, oh yeah. And she did. She was like, yeah, he does. Yeah, please, can you get him a pass? Silver band on it. It's up there, like the, no, what is it? No, the artist guest one. No, I think it's the artist guest one. Yeah, the blue one. Gets my blue band, and then like away you go. That like, because it's an artist one, I was allowed everywhere. I was access everywhere. So I was backstage and everything, and then backstage out the front. I was just fucking running riot. And I went to the bar and I was kind of like, fuck, I wonder if it's a paid bar. Like, I hope it'd be expensive as anything in here. Do you know what I mean? So but obviously it wasn't. It was free bar and everything. So I was like, okay. Like, I was like, can I get Jack Daniels and see how much it cost? It's just free. I was like, oh, that's on the house. Yeah, everything's free on the house. Like, right, can I get a quadruple Jack Daniels? so I was just doing that. So then I was just like messing around at the Brit Awards. Back and forth. I met loads of people, like say I met Kasabian. I was drinking with Green Day.
That's massive. Green Day.
Oh shit! Because they were they had that American Idiot song at the time, so they just performed it, and they were backstage drinking and stuff. And I was like, again, I said this in the Hip Hop Hoax that the craziest point for me was like speaking about California, speaking about like skateboarding. Like Trey Cool, the drummer from Green Day, was inviting me. Oh, next time you're back, just come, man. I'll show you, take some skate spots and everything. I was like, yeah, man, yeah, bro. And actually, just like fucking mental. I don't know what I'm doing. But so I'd been speaking to Daniel Benefield and his sister Natasha Benefield, right? So I was speaking to them and stuff like that, and then she'd went away, and she'd come back with a friend, and they'd said somebody, I can't remember what it was, like somebody had spoke to someone already, and I'd spoke to them already, and she came back, and Daniel Benefield said, oh, this is Silibil, and he went, oh yeah, he's from California, and then he turned and he goes to me, oh, you from California? I thought you were Scottish. And I don't know why he said it. To this day, I swear to God, I don't know why he said it. I don't know if I'd been speaking Scottish. I don't know if I don't know if I told them. I don't know what it was, and I was kind of like, oh my God, like, well, that's fucked. Whole thing's over. And I just said to him, I was like, oh, thanks, man. He goes, yeah, in American again. Like, thanks, I really appreciate it. I said, I said, I'm actually originally from Scotland. I said, but I was living in California for years, and I've been travelling around, and people always get confused with my accent. I go, so I appreciate that you've noticed that. And he went, and he goes, oh, I get it all the time, because I think he's from New Zealand, isn't he? But he was living in London, England or whatever. And he's like, it happens to me all the time. And I'm just going to change the subject. And I honestly, to this day, I don't know if I was just full-on Scottish conversation with him, or I maybe said a couple of words, or maybe I just slipped a little bit. But people always said, like, would you not get drunk? Did you not give it away? Slip back. But the more drunk we got, the more American we became, the more jackass we became, just like totally over the top, like of caricatures of our own characters, and I managed to get away with it. But there's like that's where those pictures with Kasabian that came from. So I think one of the magazines I brought, it's like got it's the pictures, and again it's a gift and a curse there, because nobody had smartphones, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't happen. People would have posted it straight away. Yeah, this boy's not American, is he? Oh, that's a fanny from Arbroath, and that's it done. But at the same time, I had so many things happen to me that I was like, I wish I had photos of that, or I wish I had. That's why they used like a lot of the animations in the Hip Hop Hoax documentary, which was really clever actually. I really liked that. But that's why they used that, because obviously they didn't have footage of everything, and we didn't have pictures.
We're living in a time now where everything is like, there's so much like footage of everything.
Yeah.
Back then, this is like the legend of a story. No. I think, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Back in the day, people used to tell stories, and like maybe they had like arms and legs added on time, but it made it more legendary than like sitting watching something. But this is. But
you'd never get away with it, like you say. You'd never get away with it now. Like if anyone wanted to try and do it now, you'd straight away on social media. Who's that guy? What's he doing? What's he doing? That's it. Done.
The story's brilliant, but I still think you had enough talent to make it.
Yeah.
And that's what must really.
Yeah. Great. That's always annoyed me. And what's made it even worse is, right, see like the press. So that the Guardian thing I showed you, that was the first article that came out, right? But then the next day, I had my own shop at the time. Along from Manifesto, Concrete Jungle. Remember that?
We got asked about that for the comment section. Somebody asked what happened to that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I ended up bringing in a partner. I was just naive. I took on a massive shop. I didn't realise like how much the rates and everything would be. It was hot, and I actually had a plan because there's 2 floors, and I had a plan to have a barber in there and maybe I was trying to get Cammy and that for tattooing and stuff in as well at the time, and I had this idea of having this big concept place where it was like a destination place. It was way ahead of its time, I think, and that all fell through right at the last minute, so I was left to just pay all the rent, all the rest of stuff. So I brought in a partner. I would have worked there. No, I should have kept it going. So I brought in a partner, and then eventually it didn't work out, and then I eventually went off to do something else. I was lecturing at the college at the time. Honestly, that's a true story. That's not fake. But so I was in Concrete Jungle right the next day. So that came out on a Saturday in the Guardian. On a Sunday we opened up the shop, and as we opened the shop, phone was ringing because all I wanted in that whole Guardian article, I didn't care about the story. I didn't think it was a big story. I didn't think anybody cared about the story. I've never thought it was a big story because it's too close to home for me. It's not a big deal. Just me being an idiot. But all I wanted from that Guardian article was, he's got a shop called Concrete Jungle and you can go to a free market in it. So I thought, like, brilliant, get on the website and stuff. So they'd said that in the article. So next day the phone was ringing, and like picked up the phone straight away, like, oh, it's a customer already, and they're like, oh, hey, is that Billy? I'd love to speak to you. I'm from whatever, let's say Daily Record. I'm from the Daily Record, and I'd love to do an interview with you about the story that just came out in the Guardian. I'm like, okay, yeah, no worries. And he put the phone down, and every time I put the phone down, it rang again, and it was someone else, and it was like, it was Loaded Magazine, or it's FHM, or it's like every press outlet in the UK wanted to jump on board with the story, and it just like totally snowballed like big. But what really frustrated me was, I loved it when people understood hip hop. I'll speak to people all day long about hip hop and everything that kind of stuff. But see when people put up like fake gangster rappers, and that used to piss me off so much.
That was the last thing you were.
Yeah, I couldn't be any further from the truth. So that all came out, and then also like even like the fake rapper thing, like Dundee's fake rappers. Well, no, we weren't fake rappers. No. We put on a fake accent. We weren't fake rappers. So like you say, the talent was always there. Like the love for the culture was always there. Like always there. But we just put on these accents to be able to take it to the next level, and that's so.
Which should not
nowadays
you
would have to. No, like I say, I've got like the album I've just recorded. I address all this kind of stuff in it, and it's basically it's a timeline of I almost wrote it like a musical. It's like I wrote it like in the timeline of the story kind of thing. So it kind of there's parts of like different songs for different kind of elements of the story, and
to go along with how it feels at the time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and
that was a good song you brought out. You're in the tunnel, open letter to the scene.
That's
a good song because it's almost like that's you starting to.
That was me addressing the Glasgow scene because it was that's at that time I just felt like everyone was like, oh, he's fucking he's fake. How he can't rap and everything. But I want that song to be.
You know what? There's nothing. See the keeping it real nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli, who you rapped about, had done it, and now they're not doing any different from anybody else.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these, you can do it through computers, make anybody's voice sound better.
That was called the comedy lyrics. It was very smart lyrics. I thought. Like,
yeah.
Compared to gangster rap was just stupid, to be fair. There was. What was it? Pull my pubes up to my chest. No, pull my pubes.
It was exactly the same. It was exactly the same stuff as the Beastie Boys were doing, but slightly on a different sort of. Different. Again, different. I'm saying it's exactly the same, different, but the same idea, and it was fun. The stuff you were doing was fun.
It was very clever.
Well, that's it. Do you know what? Like I'm not the kind of guy that sits around drinking Buckfast in a flat for a go. So I'm not going to rap about that, right? No. So that's why it doesn't work with the Glasgow scene at the time, right?
The Glasgow scene with the Subaru Impreza and a bottle of Bucky.
That's it. Yeah, do you mean and the Mullies in the background sort of thing. It's like,
this was the height of nerd culture.
That's it. Yeah, that's the birth of that. It kind of grew out of it. But then, and also, I wasn't drinking champagne and wearing gold chains and being like, yeah, what's up? So I couldn't rap about that. Do you know what I mean?
But here's the story. See when you're in the swimming pool,
hot tub. And you're going to say that.
Who are they two posh birds?
I don't know. We got
sisters.
No, well, they're in the hot tubs.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, they were just.
I'm looking at them going, they look like sisters, and I'm like, who the fuck?
No, I didn't know them. It was just done for the thing. Like, they brought these girls in and they found a hot tub place. They're like, I've got an idea, because we had all these stupid ideas. Like we had like again, we were really ahead of the time, I'd say, marketing wise, right? Because we were doing stuff like before YouTube. We were before YouTube, but we were like making videos. Again, it's like skateboarding, like Jackass. We were doing all these little snippet videos, Vines, before
Skits,
Vine,
skits,
before there was Vine, before there was
yeah.
Reels, before there was skits, any of the kind of stuff. We were doing these videos and uploading them to our website, Silibil Brains website.
What were you doing? I'm on a small video camera.
Sony gave us a camera so we could just film everything we did, and we just filmed everything on the little tapes, and we filmed like everything. We just did constantly stupid stuff. We kept coming up with ideas how we could promote this. Like we had this song I Play With Myself, and we had this like thing where it'd be like you'd film it from one, and not stand smart, but it's like at the time it was kind of like you'd film it from behind and it would look like you were kind of like doing something, and then like if the camera would come around and you'd be playing table tennis against the wall on your own, or you'd be great in a carrot or something. Like what are you looking at? It was like loads of stupid stuff. We just had all these.
How popular was that? With the reaction you got from like say like fans or whatever?
Do you know what?
The feedback good about it.
Yeah, it was, but again, there was no.
Would it be mass place to?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it wasn't like you put it on social media now you get likes and comments, but there was none of that. So you didn't really know. You couldn't really
gauge it. Blew up because the way you were, it would have blew up if it went the right way now. Yeah, that would have just totally.
Yeah, that's it. It would have been like you know when Lewis Capaldi was coming out and he was making all these stupid videos, just like totally keeping it real, which you have to appreciate the fact he's just doing that. There was him as he was. But it just blew up and everyone became viral. Everyone was just sharing it. He's
the first person I ever thought got the better of Noel Gallagher. You absolutely destroyed him that day with that. Like you destroyed him. And you just done it the way you said, just being yourself and having a laugh about that.
That was good. But that's it. Like that was all like that viral videos sort of stuff, but we didn't know how viral it went because it was like that then was like a video. Basically you email a video onto someone else, do you know what I mean? And we've seen that video and that's all went through emails. It wasn't all like just put it on your Facebook or even your Bebo or something. There wasn't even that. Do you mean there was nothing? There was nothing. So
let's go back to like recording. They never got the album out, but recording like all the songs that are infamous now. Yeah. Like so, you were down there. You get the record, the deal handed, and then how much time did you spend in the studio? Like early days.
Yeah, loads. Like we pretty much lived in the studio. Like we had to be fair, when we left Dundee, we had a good base for an album. Like we really did. Like some of the songs, like
all these songs that you've
the songs that we'd re-recorded in America, and we kind of just some of them evolved into songs that would have been on the album.
So pity that you could have an EP came out basically right away. If that came out right away, it would have been. It would be a different story.
Could have been different. Yeah, that's it. And that I mean that's the thing. Like people that heard it or people that seen us, everybody just loved it straight away. Like there was the first show we did with D12. Right, it was we were like backstage Brixton Academy, and there was these. It was like I can't remember if it was a girl rapper or it was a girl and a guy, I think, right? And they went on first, and I'm not joking. They got booed off and bottles thrown at them and everything, and we were like, oh, we're fucked here, like because we were obviously we were planning to go on. We did like 3 songs hip hop. We did like Medicine. There was a couple of songs that were like more hip hop, very hip hop based, and then brought on the band. And we did like another like maybe 5 songs or something with the band, like but still hip hop, but like with the full band there. And we thought, oh man, like they're here to see D12. Are they really want to go and see like these fucking skateboard kids jumping about like idiots on stage?
Yeah, as a support act, it's really hard to grab
that
attention.
That's it. Because remember, they were there to see that headline act, so you have to be like really good.
Yeah, to grab their attention, you need to be good.
Yeah. And honestly, lucky for us, like for that first minute we went on, like I think we went on to Medicine, which like you say, it was a good song. Beat was amazing, and we come on and everybody just loved it. So that gave me the idea that's why I was like saying like when Iron's Hot, like we did that tour like with them, and it was like everyone was loving it. I was like, well, now is the time to get it out. People want to see it.
Gigs,
so did you have these recordings like you say like Medicine, like the recording that you hear now? So that was recorded at this time.
We'd been in the studio. So as soon as we got the record deal, we put it in the studio. We went to the studio in Brixton, and we were there every day, like in Brixton, like just basically. So left the house, went to...
his question, why did none of that come out at that time then? Or why was it never like sort of...
It was, I don't know,
because Sony, these record companies, they can't, that's all red tape.
It's to go with his band question, like, they've just came on, they've done D12, they've got the backing of the crowd, the Pelters part, Medicine especially. When you first hear that, it's that infectious, like you want to hear it again.
The problem is the Sony's that big. That's what I keep saying about Island Records. Probably would have put that out months or even years before. Maybe there would have been it. Sony's that big. They can maybe wait. And that's maybe not the right time. Maybe that. You know,
that's it, pretty much. Yeah, it was like, but there was loads of stuff as well. I mean, we had like a big team around us. Like, so there was like kind of like we ended up working with these guys that did all the artwork and stuff.
Which fits really really nice.
Yeah, it's honestly.
But you getting kicked in the balls there.
Yeah, and then like payback with a skateboard. And that was it. It was like tit for tat. It was, it was like Itchy and Scratchy. You remember that?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
Simpsons.
The Simpsons. It was like that side kind of.
See the gigs you did, was there no bootleg tapes going about of them? Was there anything going about? Because you would have thought at that point there would still be tapes or even bootleg CDs. There must be copies.
Yeah,
of
there must have
somewhere.
been. Well, we did a loads of university tour. Like we did a big university tour. We
You
did
had
like all the
you had
universities.
You had the early. I mean, it used to be just
Yeah.
really bad tape recorders, but you were getting DAT things.
Yeah, as you say, you get the DAT
mini
tapes,
disc
yeah.
and stuff. They could have been recording.
I think they would have probably like mini disc is a
Yeah.
definite one. That would have been so easy just to. So there might have been, but I don't know. I don't have them. I've never heard
smart,
of
I've
them.
never made
But
that
yeah,
really, you've never
you'll
done
find if there is, you'll find it surely somewhere.
Memorabilia.
You need to look and search for some.
Yeah. No, I used to go to when the record fairs were on in Dundee. I mean, you used to go in and it would be gigs you'd been at the Edinburgh Playhouse
Yeah.
for Iron Maiden or anything like that. Would be Iron Maiden, Metallica or anything. And you always got the video, VHS or even Betamax.
Uh-huh.
Plus you got the tapes. There wasn't any CDs at that time.
Yeah,
tapes
yeah,
were-
yeah.
But and people were going in recording, so there's bound to be.
Yeah, there might have been because I mean the mini disc was like we used to do that.
Yeah.
We used to
This was
play
digital,
the reading rooms
yeah.
and we'd put we'd have the mini disc into the mixer so we could record the set. So yeah, so it wouldn't have been undoable. That was before we went to London, so wouldn't have been impossible. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've never heard one or seen one.
Yeah.
Just following on with the story, right? So you've just supported D12, and then like, how did that feel for a start?
Ah.
Was Eminem there?
No, Eminem. So this is another thing as well. Like, oh, that's a spoiler. I've just ruined it for everyone. No, that's the thing as well. That it's been made to believe. So
I was said you were pals with Eminem, but that was part of the lie. Yeah.
yeah, well, that was see this kind of thing. Again, this is what always was the issue with Gav, right? Is that we had this story. We're from California. We're skaters from California, and we've come over to London. We're traveling around Europe, and we're rappers. That's it. We don't need any more side to the story.
Yeah.
But every time he got drunk, he would just throw in another wee thing. You're like, oh yeah, we used to rap with Eminem. We used to battle Eminem stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is it? Yeah, we used to. And I used to have to just keep covering for it, and it would just grow arms and legs everywhere. Like, we don't need it.
I got that impression of quite a lot of stuff I've watched with the two of you on, and you can just see you in the background going. You can see it in your face. You can see it in your face going, oh no.
Yeah, that happened a lot. It happened a lot. Yeah, it's
Like what you said, you're already going up a couple of lies. You don't need to like.
yeah, that's it. We're already there. Do you mean it's like you don't need to kind of
The one that sort of the cringy one for me, and you put you kibosh on that. It's when you're speaking in American while you're having sex, and he was speaking in American while he was masturbating.
Yeah, I
I was
did.
like, oh, come on.
All those shite,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
Absolutely.
What are you
shite.
saying? Like who are you speaking?
Yeah,
to?
I know exactly. It's a load of noise. But that's it again. It's something to add to the story to make people go, oh really, wow, that was crazy. But it's like I always say like the story is good enough on its own. It doesn't need like the arms and legs. It doesn't need like more lies added on, different things to make it more Hollywood kind of thing. It's already a
I want the second film. I want the follow-on when you make it and you get the record deal.
Well, it might come in. I never
And
know.
you do well.
yeah, I know.
Well, you did well anyway, but you wanted to do.
Do you know what? I've because of the way I wrote the book, like I was saying, I wrote random chapters. I almost made the end of each chapter a wee bit of a cliffhanger kind of thing. So you'd want to read the next chapter kind of thing. Like it wasn't intentional; it just kind of happened. I was like, okay, how do I finish this chapter? Oh, I'll just say it like that. Right, so that's how it worked. And I started thinking, do you know what? That would be brilliant for a TV series.
Yeah, that's what you do. Series,
So yeah, so I wrote a pilot. I've written a pilot for a TV series.
What was your best man speech like
At
your wedding?
At my wedding, well, he wasn't my best man. No, he wasn't my best man.
No, what was what? I mean, that when you went back to it and got married, that
Yeah.
what was getting said? I was like, what were they saying?
Do you know what?
How did you know what you were doing?
Oh no, people back home.
Yeah.
Some, but no one really realised
the size of it.
yeah, the how big it was. Yeah, like nobody realised like how deep we were in, kind of thing. My mum knew. There was times where, and obviously my wife now knew. And
But you did well. You did well that she was like totally loyal to you.
Yeah.
And you were to her, and that could have just totally failed.
But without her, it would have been a disaster. Eh? So like, she was obviously one of the main reasons I ended up coming back in the end, and thank God I did. I mean, I probably would have been dead by now or something. Do you mean? But that was, and I've told this story that like I loved what we did. I loved hip hop. I wanted this my whole life. But the story I tell is that I found something I loved more, and that's why I kind of came away. So that's a bit emotional bit for you.
Yeah, that's it.
But doing that, and that's it. And I mean, we've been married 21 years. Do you know what I mean? It's like no, but like it's funny because James and that were asking, if you got any old videos of like the wedding that we can maybe put on the end credits kind of thing, that kind of thing. I said, yeah, I must do. And I found like my granddad, like he's another one that goes around with a video camera. Like not now, he's passed away, but like he had filmed everything, right? And he'd filmed the wedding, and it was the tapes were rubbish. We didn't have a professional at the wedding. We didn't have that much money or anything. We were just kind of keeping it a small wedding. And I found this tape, and honestly, the parts where you've got us, I was just a fucking idiot. I was like so immature, and so I was kind of almost. I probably found it difficult. I was probably still in character a wee bit as well, but still myself.
You're down there because I'm to live this character.
Yeah, I have to be a bit wild. So even when I'm watching the videos, like, oh man, I wish I could go and do my wedding again now, because I just feel like I was too immature to get married. Probably I was just still in that bit of a character. So
what age were you when you got married?
24.
24. So
24, yeah, 2004, and I moved back home.
So you got married and you had to go back down to London.
Yeah, and then she came down as well actually, because she was she'd finished she's a teacher, and she'd finished her probationary year. She was to start her probationary year, so she had a gap, and she came down and lived. She lived with us towards the end of being in London, and the two of us just went back up.
You definitely got the right girl there to let you get away with that for so long.
I know,
you know what I mean?
But there was times when it was funny where it was like I'd be like speaking in American, hey, yeah, and on the phone we're gonna be like, hey, what's up, babe? And then she'd be like, fuck off. or like, hey, mom, what's up, mom? She's just like, oh, I'll call you back later. Because you couldn't get, do you mean I had to be like in private, like, so I could only really speak to when I was on
so how heavy did that weigh on you, having to do that for so long?
Probably a lot more than I thought at the time, to be honest.
Maybe alright for the first year, and then second year you're maybe...
Yeah, do you know what? Even the second year was fine, because we were just having so much fun. We were having so much fun that it wasn't. I think it wasn't until
you've been chasing the dream for years.
Yeah, that's it. We're now we've got it. I'm not going to say we've made it, but we've got what we're essentially chasing. And it wasn't until I came home and I had I left and went away. Like there was no. This is the thing. There was no like big fight. There was no big argument around that. I said I'm going to go on this day. And the day came, and I was like, all right, okay. It was the same as this, the Sony BMG thing. So the day came, I was like, right, well, if nothing happens by this time, and nothing happens by this, I'm going. And then one day, just got to the point, wife and I just packed up the car and went back up the road. And I had a big argument with Gavin on the phone, because he was like, well, where are you? I was like, I'm not coming back. And he's like, fucking Joe, you need to come back. We had a big gig booked as well at that, one of these kind of skate festival things. And he thought I'd come back down. And it wasn't until the end of that phone call, like the breath of fresh air that I got, like the weight just felt like it had just gone off my shoulders. And it wasn't until that moment that I realised just how much I was carrying, like being in that character and living that lie for 3 years. That was the moment where I really realised, like, wow, what a difference, and then I kind of started to appreciate being home in Arbroath. And
let's look at it from that point of view. For 3 years you had to go about like constantly, you're worried that you're going to get caught out. Like every day you're worried that somebody's going to find out. Like we've said that many times in this, like you wouldn't get away with it nowadays. Somebody would shut up you on the internet straight away.
Absolutely.
So how does that feel, like going about pulling off this this massive lie, but everybody's believing it as well?
Yeah.
Like, does that weigh like heavier on you, like every night, like you've just got to stay in this character? Did that add to like you were drinking more? Or?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, definitely added to the like kind of partying more. But again, it was kind of being more in that character, like I say, like we became more, like we got more and more into these, like the character grew, if you know what I mean. At first of all, we just had American accents, and the next thing you know, we were like full on jackass and just being like wild guys. Like honestly, like I say, like that the thing when I said like I wrote pimp on the first interview when I went to Universal, like we were idiots, absolute idiots. Like we would go into Sony, like that. I think it's maybe in the documentary or something, but we'd walk into Sony and like our manager would be like, right, big meeting, guys, this is going to change, and we need to make sure they're going to do this for us, that for us, right, okay, ready to go, let's go. He'd walk in and I'd walk behind him with my jeans at my ankles, just in my fucking Vans boxer shorts, and he just turned out, what the fuck, oh my, like, just didn't care. We just didn't care. We just became absolute lunatics.
It's mad confidence.
That was it. It was insane confidence. Well, somebody said that as well. I don't know if it was someone before that, or it might have been James McAvoy that said it. He was like, do you mean I do this for a living? He goes, but I've never had to live it. And I thought that's a good point. Like he said, like you lived in that character for 3 years. Like imagine being in a character for 3 years.
It's like undercover cop.
Undercover coppers or the army went undercover like IRA and all that. I mean, a different level, but and more dangerous.
My granddad did that.
You're doing exactly the same thing. And you did it well. And you got away with it.
And that's it. It is. Again, it's one of those things that I never thought about, because I just thought
Just when you say
just me
that
doing
the
it.
weight was lifted, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah,
unexpected,
I didn't realise it. I mean, I obviously didn't realise how heavy that was weighing on you, like until you kind of stepped away from it, and then you could just be yourself, and you didn't have to pretend to be anything else, and you could just go back to living a normal life. And I was like, wow, what a difference that is.
It's a sad scene at the end of the doc. It is a sad scene in the documentary when you see you walking, going on the helicopter and nobody on it.
That was me faking it as well, by the way, because I didn't go anywhere.
I know. I was like, there's no way he's getting on there.
Nah, it's a private chopper to the right. Yeah. No, yeah, that was. It was quite emotional, wasn't it? It was a good scene, but I think she did. Do you know what? Jeannie did really, really well. The one thing that annoyed me, but I love the documentary. The one thing that annoyed me was the lighting every time I got interviewed, and I told her this because when she interviewed me, I was living just outside Arbroath at the time, and we had this like big window at the back and so everything, and it was just all like grass and trees and everything behind us at the garden stuff. And they filmed me with almost that natural light, right? And all the green and stuff in the background. And I thought, I looked shit. I was like, it looked fucking horrible. And every time I went to Gav, he was in like a really cool little trendy bar with like nice neon light stuff. And I was like, how come you never filmed me in like a cool bar? And what she said was, she wanted to show the contrast between the chaotic life in the lights in London and like the peacefulness of the green and stuff. And I thought, that's I'll see what she did.
No,
so, and it did. I think it worked really well.
I love because it kind of
makes you more homely and stuff.
Yeah, that was it.
For that documentary, like I've obviously never met Gav, but like from like the whole thing we're going about it, he seems more lost in this story than you are.
Yeah, and they've brought that into the film really well as well, actually. And I guess that's what it was. Like once I left, he still tried to make it. Like he was still like desperately trying to make it on his own. And
is he still in London?
He's still trying to make it. Yeah, so as a rapper. Yeah,
that's a brave move on your behalf to finally just like put a final nail on it and say, I'm giving up on the dream. I'm obviously you're married and stuff. You're just going to progress with that. And like obviously the opposite side of that is staying in London and trying to make it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dreams. I always had this dream. That's my dream. And it wasn't until later on I realised that dreams change. I mean, life changes and you have to mature and different things. And
everything evolves, man.
Yeah, that's it. And at that time, he couldn't let that go. He was so desperate for that. But I think there's a lot. Like we talked about the whole Motherwell thing, South Africa thing. There's a lot of darker side to it. Like I think he spent a lot of time trying to find out who he was, and I think that's a big part of how he got so lost in the character.
Every time I've seen the two of you getting interviewed, I know you're from Arbroath, Dundee area.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's from.
Yeah,
and that's it's a struggle. I'm not sure of that. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of that accent. I don't know what. He never says I'm from here. He never says I'm from there.
Yeah.
There's never and it's.
But that's deliberate. That's totally deliberate.
Yeah,
and it's like, but even the music, like I've heard some of his new stuff, and if you hear my new stuff, it's like, it's funny. I was in the studio today actually, just finishing off something, right, and I recorded my verse, and then I said because it's a different kind of, again, it's not really a song that I would usually do. It's a little bit different, and but I wanted to write something different, and I said to the producer, I goes, was that American? And he was like, shut the fuck. He goes, if it's fucking American, I'll tell you it's American. Because I still panic here that it's just coming naturally into American. But when I listen to it, now it's just me, 100% me, and you'll know it's me. But when you listen to his music, again, it still to me sounds a little bit American, and there's like he's probably only been to America once, which was the hip hop hoax thing. So I don't know, like I feel like he's struggled to let go, but like I just think he's still.
The thing was though,
trying to find it. You know,
the guys for Island Records was right in what he said. The two of you were a package. At Silibil Brains, you were a package, a really good package, and and it should have worked. It should have worked, and it could have worked, and it's the should have could have.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think Island Records was probably, if we've said it a few times, I think Island Records was probably the way
would have changed things majorly. Yeah,
but you're getting offered the biggest deal. You're not going to turn.
Yeah, I know, that's it. And it was the way the management company involved at that time as well. But do you know how I end the book is that I say like there's not a world for Silibil Brains now, I said, but there maybe is a world for Silibil and Brains, and that's kind of where I kind of see it. Yeah, like it was a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
We really should have made it. Even like people still say, "Oh, I just heard that song. That's amazing. If that came out now, I think that would be a hit. You should release it." I'm like, it's that's gone. Those days are gone. But there is still.
There's different ways to look at it, I think. You know? Like, there's loads of music that got brought out at that time that's just been forgotten at the time, whereas like a story like this will never be forgotten.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Generally, what I won't like. It's not going to be replicated. It's not
no, absolutely not. Never.
Just moving on slightly to like after you split up, the documentary comes out. So we've sort of covered that a wee bit. Like, how did it feel to find out at the start where you're getting a movie made about your life?
Yeah, mad, because they've been talking about it forever. Like I kind of addressed that as well. Like if you were, once the story was out there and the documentary was out there, it was every time it came out in the press that I think there was like Irvin Welsh was involved at one point. Irvin Welsh had heard the story. He's going to make a book about it. He's going to make a film about it. Oh, brilliant! And then it comes out in the press, and then it goes around in the circle and then another Scottish person hears it, and then they get asked about it. Do you hear about the story? Oh yeah, they're going to make a film about it, and it just went round and round. And I always said, I'll believe it when I see it.
If Irvin Welsh had made it, it would have been an entirely
different film.
story.
Yeah. This is the thing. So what James McAvoy said is that when you make a Scottish film about like regular people, working class people, it always seems to have that edge. It always has to be that it's about drugs, it's about poverty, it's about this thing. He goes on. He didn't want to make that, and this story is not that. This story is about the Scottish underdog that's not getting opportunity because they're being held back because of their accents, and they really want to push it. And how can they get revenge on it?
You two are from good households and well brought up. It wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like you weren't coming from the coming from the actual dog
that's
end,
it.
you know?
Yeah, that's it. So it's a total different story. It's a different movie, a different story for Scotland, I think. But I've always said, it's funny, I'll even say it right now, that I always thought it was a cool story to tell the grandparents one day. Like, you're never going to believe what I did when I was a young lad. Never thought it'd be me. I always thought I'll believe it when I see it. It's not going to come into a movie. I'm still here sitting like, well, I guess it is coming now.
Too good a story just to be
it is coming,
grandkids.
yeah. But I didn't realise it. I didn't appreciate it for what it was, because it was just my life. It was just me messing around.
Look at it this way, like James McAvoy, if he's not the biggest Hollywood A-lister, he was probably Ewan McGregor. Maybe like it's an argument between these
Scottish
those
lads,
two.
yeah.
I remember how excited he was to be making. Like when he came in my shop, he was absolutely buzzing. He was telling me what he was doing. It was like selling the story. He was on a buzz.
And he's a really cool guy as well.
Yeah,
eh?
he's
So
brilliant.
because you forget people are just people. So I mean, like you forget these celebrities are just people. And like when I first met him, like in person, we had meetings with him online, but when I first met him in person, he came running over to me and said, "Oh, there he is, yeah." And I was just like, "The fuck, this is
He's
James McAvoy."
He's a lot smaller.
Yes,
than what I thought
yes,
he was, man,
yeah, he is. But especially when you see him in like different films, that he's buffed up a little bit, and you think, "Oh, he's a big guy."
I called him Professor X when he came in. I couldn't believe it, man. But yeah, like
it was cool.
That's crazy. Like I remember the buzz he was on about making the film and how he was explaining it. He was telling everybody, and that's.
You think about some of the stuff that he's done though. He is one of the maddest actors he puts everything into it.
Yeah.
It's mad stuff, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Yes, that's why this movie we can relate to it.
He's probably seen himself.
Yeah, he can probably relate to it.
But he's obviously got this is his like directorial debut. Like so, he's obviously if this is the first thing you're coming out, you're going to become a hard. You're believing in what you're doing, and like obviously that's your story.
And that's a good thing for me is that like. Because it's his first film, it has to be good. Do you know what I mean? So I was always like so happy that he's definitely going to put everything into it, like, and he has done. I think he's done a great job.
So have you seen the film then? Yeah?
I've seen it. Yeah.
You're happy with it?
Yeah. I'm really happy with it. It's like I was saying earlier on, like the costume stuff and everything is spot on. The soundtrack's spot on.
I was promised James McAvoy with seen the photo of me and him. I've got him holding the Dundee strap. He came in and he said he got it actually made. He promised me that was going to be in the film, but it wasn't you. Well, it wasn't your character wearing it. It would have been Gavin's.
Well,
Seamus Ross, is that?
Seamus. Yeah. So you might, I don't know. You might be frustrated because there's a scene. There's maybe a scene where there's a United scarf or something in it.
He's done all over, man.
He did that in Schemers as well.
Yeah, but do you know what? I think it was just kind of like, let's make all thing. I can't remember. It might be. It might.
The Anderson Tartan, he was well into it. He was like, I want that for the scene and everything, because I wouldn't sell him that. But I was like,
do you know what? There might be. There might be. You'll have to see it now.
Oh, I'm going to see it. This thing, yeah.
But yeah, no, there might be actually. But there is definitely. There's definitely something to do with United in it. And I thought, oh man, none of us were United fans. Why there? So, but it's cool. It's a really, really cool film.
It's amazing that there's a film being made about like like what's something that started in Dundee.
Yeah.
I know you're from Arbroath and stuff, but like something that started in Dundee. It's a great thing for Dundee.
Yeah,
like,
I think it is as well. And I am so just quickly to talk about Dundee. I'm trying to get because there's the premiere's coming out and the premiere's going to be in Glasgow for the Glasgow, because it's a Glasgow Film Festival, it ties in perfectly. But I'm trying to do an event in Dundee at the DCA because and that's what I've said is like I want to bring it back full circle because the story started in Dundee and I think it should come to Dundee like as part of it.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping to get some in at the DCA. I've had a few meetings just recently, and we're speaking to like Studio Canal stuff about it. So hopefully we will get a Dundee event. Like we can.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it deserves it. I think it deserves it. So it would be cool.
The DCA is a like sort of fitting area as well. Like,
Yeah.
Catherine's like.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's there, and it's like, and if we do something, I'm looking at maybe doing like some sort of after party at Groucho's or something. Because and I've never been in Groucho's as a venue, but Groucho's was a massive part for me growing up. Do you mean like we just the amount of times we went in there?
Yeah, it's all right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, cool. So I was thinking maybe something like that kind of area. And the Grey Hip Hop Hoax was screened in the DC
It was
as well.
actually.
That was screened in DC.
I remember the
so-
buzz about that at the time as well. 'Cause I'd never heard the story before, and I was like cutting pals with Cammy and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah,
about that. I remember watching it at the time.
Yeah.
No, I'd heard the story before that. I remember when it started breaking. It started breaking, and it was one of these. What?
Yeah, no, that's it. Same as everyone. And once somebody knew about it, everybody knew about it. But this film will take it to the next level, obviously.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
cool.
I think everybody's been sitting waiting to watch it.
Yeah.
One last time before we hit to go, because we're running out of time, we've got to ask you about your young lad. He's the next wonder kid.
Yes, you're getting that right in there.
I've seen that. I've seen some of the goals and stuff. What age is he? 15.
16, yeah. So
16.
he's just turned 16. He's yeah. So he's doing well. He's doing really well. He's kind of like. Did you see the Celtic game last year when they won the cup?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was.
They were on the cup run and stuff.
That was a highlight. That was a highlight because he played centre mid. He played centre mid, and then it was 1-1, I think, and then second half we moved him up front. And he scored a hat trick in the 1-4-2. So and he was captain of the team and stuff like that. So massive highlight. But yeah, he's doing really well. He's doing really well.
Like that whole youth system that's coming through. He pals with Colin Missionborough's son as well.
Yeah.
I did all their bits like years ago. It's great to see all these young laddies coming through. And
Well, they're all fans of you as well, though, because I said I was coming on and like, oh yeah, that's cool.
He's
a cool
fans
guy.
of them. Like any young Dundee players, man, we're definitely.
No, they're doing. Honestly, there's a load of boys coming through that academy system. It's really good. Like Stephen Wright's done a brilliant job.
They must be mad
It's
proud of
really
that
good.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like I've always told my kids, and there's a wee tie in here because I've got a song called this, like the reach for the well, it's called Stargaze. It was about reach for the stars, and I tell my kids that to reach for the stars, because if you don't hit the stars, you'll at least land on the rooftops and you're above where you were when you started. And that's advice I was always given, that I've always run with, and that's look where I end up. You know what I mean?
Especially can look at your story.
So
and
so that's it.
that.
I believe that if he tells me he wants to win the Ballon d'Or one day, then go win the Ballon d'Or one day. You mean
Well,
I'm not going to say no. Come on, get a grip. You can't do that.
The thing I've come with this whole talk tonight is you've got your piece now. You've got the piece, and I just hope that Gavin he can find a bit of peace in it as well, because if he's still chasing it.
That's it.
I hope that someone does, but I just hope he finds the same as what you have, because
absolutely.
you totally
that's
changed
it.
it from that.
And
It's a good story to you now. You're still doing your music, and why can't he?
Yeah, and I think he is. I think he is getting there. I know he chased it for a while and he changed a lot of different styles stuff. But I think, and I hope as well for the same thing. Like I say, we don't speak so much and stuff anymore, like at all. But like I hope he does. I hope he does find a piece from it. And he's had a lot of trouble. And I think like that, finding your identity has been a massive part of his struggles like throughout his life, you know. So I'm hoping he gets that.
I know a lot of musicians. I used to be in the music scene myself, and some of them just never let it go. They're always chasing that dream.
But it's hard to. Do you mean it's hard to? It's not.
It's all you know, especially.
Yeah, and it's all you want. Do you mean it's a massive part of like where you want to be, and you
to
don't
get to the level you've got to in the test, like you say, you were in the Brit Awards. You've got all these like.
Yeah.
Like, I was a musician that never made it. Like, so to hear these stories has been brilliant, and to see all that. So like, this doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen to everybody.
No, definitely not. And like you say, it's the story that'll never be told again, because you're never going to get away with it these days.
You're never
going to get away with these days again. So
when does the book come out?
So I'm looking at 1st of May for launching the book. The album will be out about the same time as the film, and then the book on 1st of May. So I'm going to try and do an event for the book as well. I want to do like a sort of like a book launch kind of thing. So I'll do that. I'll let you know about that.
So it's going to be a busy couple of months for you.
It is. It's been honestly a bit of a mad. Like even end of last year, I was like, it's going to be a wild year next year. Hey, but I've just trying to keep going. I just love being creative. So I can't stop really. So
the man of the moment. Well, I would love to say thanks for coming in, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate
I feel like we
cheers.
we could have went for a lot more. It feels like there's so much more we could have asked, but in the time frame we've done.
Yeah.
But anything else before we go?
No, I just appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I'm a fan of the podcast and everything as well, so I love watching it and stuff. And
Well, if we're getting in that DCA, well, I'll be in there. I'll be in the queue to see
I'll let
it.
you know.
Sign the book and post.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, definitely. You'll need that. No, definitely, absolutely.
Well, this has been the Dundee podcast. As I said, thanks for Billy for joining us. Thanks to Steve again. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Cheers.